This is Channel 5 News in the headlines. Roseau Central MP Joseph Isaac is the latest to be questioned by police since UWP protest action and subsequent vandalism in the city. An application by show promoter Carnival Douglas to sue government over the Tommy Lee Sparta case dismissed by the Caribbean Court of Justice. And the Minister for Tourism urges private sector to improve its case for Sunday as a regular work day. I am Idona John Baptist with the Channel 5 News. Details after this. First up, a businessman has called for calm as opposition members continue to be questioned on suspicion of what authorities say was an attempted plot to overthrow the government. Member of Parliament for Roseau Central, Joseph Isaac, is the most recent opposition member taken in for questioning by the police stemming from the February 7th protest in Roseau. Joseph was picked up by police early Monday morning and later released without being charged. Police have been investigating the circumstances surrounding a riot which followed a meeting of the United Workers' Party and Dominica Freedom Party recently on Kennedy Avenue. Businessman Parry Bellot is concerned with the image currently being portrayed of the country to the outside world.
Many years ago, about 5-6 years ago, I wrote a column suggesting that the Discover Dominica Authority could look to Trinidad maybe for bringing in tourists of a different kind. Trinidad at that time and still today had a big crime problem. And it's getting worse actually. Now they even have ISIS elements to worry about. And I often wondered, and I have friends in Trinidad, both business people and journalistic colleagues, and I realized a lot of them, especially business people and the very rich ones, are very nervous. So what about if we were to persuade families, that is not the businessman, but at least the wife and children, to come to Dominica to reside, and the government would make special arrangement, to make sure they had access to the schools and so on, And that was, I took it a stage further, and I contacted some of my friends in Trinidad, and they thought it had merit, the idea and so on. Nothing quite had come, but so interestingly, just a few days ago, one of my friends in Trinidad, she's actually a journalist, but was a former politician too, was telling me, Parry, somebody mentioned to me about your idea that she had referred them to about possibly considering living in Dominica for a while until the Trinidad crime was, resolved a bit. And he said, but Dominica is not as peaceful as you were portraying it. Look at the incidents they had, just last week and so on. And then it dawned on me that maybe a lot of Dominicans don't appreciate that. Instability, when it's perceived in a country, it affects a lot of things.
On the other hand, Bellot says he supports the police actions to investigate the rioters' activities 2 weeks ago.
It disturbs me, the events that happened that day and night, especially the night incidents, because as I mentioned earlier, I was one who really felt that Dominica really had this perception overseas that we're a very peaceful country, although of course we had our big incident in May 29th, which ended, by the way, in a constitutional coup. And there were a lot of indices that were very different. In other words, there was a massive belief by most of the population and organizations in the country had all issued statements that the government was not doing things properly and they really should resign. There was this massive sort. You don't have that massive. All you have are two political parties. Most reasonable people, I think, say, but for a small country like Dominica, there is too much politics in the air. Our radio stations, if twice, 3 times a day. And, we're coming to the Carnival season, which, whether or not there's a hot political issue on, it's already, the tensions are generally high.
The Prime Minister had said that according to intelligence, the rioters were paid to rebel against police who were guarding government's buildings on Kennedy Avenue at the time. Last week, former UWP Deputy Leader Claudia Sanford was charged with obstruction in relation to the recent protest. In other top stories, the Caribbean Court of Justice has dismissed an application brought by show promoter Carnival Douglas with the intent to sue government for $3 million.
Douglas was promoter for Jamaican artist Tommy Lee Sparta, who was detained upon arrival here in February 2014 and barred from staging a planned concert. Tommy Lee and his entourage, who were arrested at Douglas Charles Airport upon their arrival and kept in police custody at the Marigot police station overnight, were deported the next day. At the time, government said the artist was denied entry on the grounds of public safety. The Dominica Association of Evangelical Churches protested the visit, claiming Tommy Lee Sparta's music glorified Satan and promoted lawlessness and violence. Promoter Cabral Douglas claimed government's position was illegal, thus his reason for the $3 million lawsuit. Mr. Douglas was seeking individual benefits under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, but to do so he would have had to apply for special leave and meet a number of criteria, including having an arguable case.
Mr. Douglas was seeking to say that he was entitled to the benefit that accrued or inured to the Jamaican nationals by way of, in particular, Articles 7, 8, 45 and 46, are the articles that he originally relied on. He subsequently applied to amend, and the court gave him leave to amend his grounds, and he then went on 7, that's Article 7, Article 8, Article 36 and 37. And in short, the court has found that he has not satisfied the criteria of Article 222 to bring himself within the provisions to enable him to be someone who, as an individual or as a national, was entitled to enforce the grounds that he claimed had been breached.
The issue of Sunday being legally recognized as a regular workday has re-emerged, with Tourism Minister Robert Tong calling for the private sector to improve its case. He was speaking at a panel discussion organized by the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association that looked at the state of the tourism industry.
The private sector needs to engage the employees so that they can truly understand why this needs to be done, so that the employees themselves can buy into this, and for them to understand that really and truly the employees will not be adversely affected based on the recommendations that I've heard in terms of allowing that to be done. So if someone works on a Sunday, more than likely you're going to give them a day off during the week. So I think part of the issue is that that hasn't been properly articulated to the employees. As a result, they are going to object to it, and they are going to object very loudly to it, and then they're going to go to their, what they call it, to their PAL reps and so on and so forth. So I just think that the strategy should change so that the employees begin to buy, and if the employees begin to buy into this, then I think it makes it a lot easier for it to be sold to the government institution.
Meanwhile, Arion Perriman, president of the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association, said other trade associations need to unite with DHTA and be more vocal on the issue.
And I'm going to take off my DHTA hat for a minute and just say there are other ways of circumventing that. So in the short term, new employees can be hired, for example, on contract. And on contract, you can also say that Sundays will not be recognized as a holiday. So just for private sector knowledge, when you're hiring a new employee, that's something that could be done. However, the bigger issue really and truly is we need to look at changing that legislation.
She also believes that there are ways to work around the situation. The Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce has also been calling on government to change the legislation for Sunday to be legally recognized as a regular day of work. On the Carnival scene, the Convent High School has added another Teen Dominica title to its tally as 15-year-old fourth former Cheyenne Dewhurst captured that crown on Sunday. Dewhurst got the awards for Miss Photogenic, Best Speech, and Best Spectacular Creation. First runner-up went to Ashanti Arlene of the Goodwill Secondary School, who secured the awards for Miss Amity, Best Talent, and Best in Spectacular Creation.
And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and sometimes I care for you.
Grammar School's LaShawn Bellot won the award for Best Response to Question and was judged second runner-up, while Brittany Williams of the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School placed third runner-up and got the prizes for Best Evening Wear and Best in Evening Wear. The other participants were Felicia Edwards of the Pierre Charles Secondary School, Ashley Seja of the Portsmouth Secondary School, and Selena Edwards of the Casa Bruce Secondary School. Miss Teen Dominica 2016 was Stephanie Elwa of the Portsmouth Secondary School. A high school teacher of the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School made off with 6 awards to become this year's Carnival Mother's Queen. Della Gachette of Emsall triumphed over 7 other contestants to win the crown. Apart from securing the Miss Photogenic Award, she was judged Best Talent, Best in Evening Wear, Best in Swimwear, Best in Spectacular Wear, and Miss Intelligence. Following Della, in first runner-up position is Alex Warrington of Goodwill, who lives in Switzerland. She walked away with the Best Evening Wear Award. Second runner-up is Anne-Marie Cornelius of Casa Bruce, who also won the Best Swimwear Award. Joesta Prentice of Silver Lake emerged third runner-up with the Best Spectacular Wear Award. Miss Amity went to Tamika Bergins of Thibault. Royat Cook, Nelista Tavernier, and Aquinel Victorine were the other contestants. Coming up, more news, security breaches at ATMs and what can be done to combat it. Stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. 2 Haitian nationals and 4 Dominicans have been granted bail in the sum of $250,000 EC dollars each. The 4 Dominicans are Clyde Ferrara, Marcelino Olive, Evans Paul, and Francis Bruno. The 2 Haitians are Dante Alexander and Sudo Se. The 6 men were charged with possession of cocaine on February 15. They were also charged with intent to supply $34,000. In some business news, stakeholders, including consumers who transact financial matters electronically, are being advised to be vigilant and take collective responsibility to tackle security breaches of automated teller machines or ATMs.
Systems Administrator Clifford Gibbons says while the security of ATMs is being regularly improved, the supporting technology could potentially be misused. His comments follow the arrest of a French national who was recently charged with theft, deception, fraud and money laundering after he obtained over $11,000 from 3 ATMs in Roseau. That individual is presently on remand at the state prison. Also in January, 3 Chinese nationals were sentenced to 3 years in prison after pleading guilty to the July 2016 theft involving over $100,000 from a National Bank of Dominica ATM. In both cases, the accused were reportedly in possession of elaborate equipment that could potentially breach ATM security.
It doesn't start with the banks, it starts with the individuals. You need to constantly look at your balances, once you're doing transactions, check your balances. Even if you're not doing transactions, check and make sure that monies didn't come out of your account and that sort of thing. Because you never know when your card or if your card is compromised. All right, you have a credit card, you have a debit card, means it has, sometimes you use your card on Amazon, you get your billing and stuff, and some people don't even look at their transactions. Then you have a repeat billing and so you have to be doing that. So it starts with the individuals. We need to be more vigilant.
He says the cybersecurity industry continues to improve its response to attacks on electronic payment systems.
The industry on its own is doing a lot in terms of the regulating and beefing up of the security aspects as it surrounds to electronic payment transactions. and you will realize I said electronic payment transactions, because it's not just ATMs and ATM cards. All right, any form of electronic payment, there needs to be a beefed up security against that, and there's a lot of security around it at present, and that is being beefed up on a regular basis. But again, the scenario of this thing is, as you improve security, so too the malicious person out there increases their knowledge.
Gibbons adds that strengthening the security of electronic payment systems is focused on the verification and authentication of transactions. He believes Dominica and the rest of the region will be using so-called smart cards with microchips inside in the future.
And the 16-year-old St. John's Academy student has created history as he won the Junior Calypso Monarch title for the 4th consecutive year. Lemma, the Irish Kid Irish, beat a field of 10 other competitors with his rendition, You Can Depend on Me, written by Livingston Castle.
In a little while I will have to go, but depend on me to promote and enhance your show. You can depend on me to help motivate the young. You can depend on me. Look, me commitment is so strong. You can depend on me.
Second place went to Nikima the Empress Alfred of the St. Martin Secondary School with a song Toujours Ta, written by Ian Jackson.
In every strata of society, yes, we always late. We always late. We started work at 8 o'clock, but it's now we put in that makeup. Toujours ta.
Shakira Williams of the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School copped 3rd place with her song Mr. Stepdaddy, also written by Ian Jackson. And Pat Aaron wrote the song Little Schoolboy for Yaba the Spider Frederick of the St. Mary's Academy, who placed 4th. The other participants in this year's competition were Mighty D and Mighty Boy of the Dominica Community High School, Mighty Sarah and Mighty Boyd of the St. Luke's Primary, Mighty Franco of the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, and Macrisi and Stinger B from the Convent High School. This is the Irish Kids' final year in the Junior Monarch competition. That's news. Kenny Williams is next with your sports highlights.
In football, Caribbean Cool Harlem United copped 2nd place in the Dominica Football Association's Premier League with a win against Exodus Football Club on the weekend. Harlem defeated Exodus 3-0 in Sunday's match at Geneva. With this win, Exodus had to settle for 3rd place, with Dublin Football Club recently winning the championship title. Meantime, in the Division 1 League, we had RC Doctors defeating Skerrit Northeast 3-1. MV Maxino Bombers edged out Element Agency's LA Stars 1-0. In other games, we had All Saints Football Club winning their game against Malta Carib Bath Estate 3-0, and Andy Williams Spartans failed to show up for their match against Ray Charles Point Michelle, giving the host team an easy win. In Saturday's doubleheader, there were wins for Digicel Newtown Juvenile Academy, Harlem United, and East Central. Harlem had the upper hand against St. Mary's Cooperative Credit Union Delton United, winning their match 4-0, while East Central won by default over Haitian Angels. Finally, Mahosoka Strikers defeated Boston Warner 5-2. Moving on to cricket, we can tell you that Barbados Pride won the 2016-2017 WICB Regional Super 50 title with a win against Jamaica Scorpions on Saturday. Barbados wicket-keeper batsman Shai Hope added a solid 101 to help his team seal the victory, with Barbados scoring 271 batting first. Jason Holder contributed 69. Set 272 for victory, Jamaica was bowled out for 212 in 44.3 overs. Rovman Powell came in with 65, while Andre McCarthy 30 for Jamaica. Solomon Ben picked up 3 for 33. Shai Hope was awarded player of the match. Back with more football, President of CONCACAF, Victor Montagliani, believes the development of football infrastructure and creating opportunities for players are key factors to improving Dominica's football product. His comments came at a press conference on Saturday at the Football House.
The reality is that I think it's about your commitment to the game, which is definitely here. It's about your passion for the game, which is definitely here. But I think one of the areas that, there's some realities, and we understand that in our region, which is really infrastructure. Infrastructure is a challenge. It's a challenge everywhere, not just in the small islands. It's a challenge even in some of the big countries. Okay, so it's a challenge in our region, getting the right infrastructure so that you have opportunities to play, opportunities to coach. And then the other one, other than infrastructure, really is opportunity in itself. Creating opportunities for the players, both male and female, to not only participate in the game, but also opportunities if they want to push on in the game and excel in the game. So those are the two pillars, I think, that are important from a CONCACAF perspective.
Montagliani commended the school's football program and the part it plays in ensuring a level of continuity in the sport.
Well, I heard this morning sort of the outline of that plan, and it was actually quite exciting to hear about it. First of all, the number of schools, I believe it was 53 schools. It kind of threw me aback. I'm like, wow. And even on the girls' side, it was 23. And so, I was really happy to hear that in terms of that initiative. As well, coupled with that initiative is the initiative with the coaching aspect, because that's obviously very important. It's one thing for the children to play and learn, but it's very important that they learn under the right curriculum, the right environment, and having certified, qualified coaches. So, I think it's very exciting. I know it started 5 years ago. And I think you're going to see a significant climb in terms of not only the participation side, but also the excellence side in terms of players coming through, because you're getting to them at the right age.
On to international cricket, we can tell you that South Africa defeated New Zealand by 4 wickets in the first one-day international on Sunday. Batting first, New Zealand scored 207 for 7. Kane Williamson added 59. Chris Morris took 4 for 62. With the target set at 208, South Africa replied with 210 for 6. Quinton de Kock scored 69. South Africa led the 5-match series 1-0. And Sri Lanka beat Australia in a closely contested match to win the game by 2 wickets on Sunday. Australia took first knock and scored 173 all out. M. Henrique was undefeated on 56, while Michael Klinger supported with 43. In reply, Sri Lanka scored 176 for 8. Asela Gunaratne contributed 84 not out. Sri Lanka led the 3-match series 2-0. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us in the next one.
We now join our friends at the Met Office for the weather reports.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to your weather. I'll be your presenter, Farah Rock Korea. Today, weak and stable conditions due to the presence of a trough system was a dominant feature affecting weather conditions across Dominica and the rest of the Lesser Antilles, resulting in partly cloudy to cloudy skies for us at the Kingfield station. Now, earlier visible satellite imagery showed some patches of low-level clouds traverse across the eastern Caribbean, and earlier radar imagery indicated scattered showers across the islands of the Lesser Antilles. The weather tonight is expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy with a few scattered showers. However, the weather tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with some showers. Persons in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and falling rocks, please be vigilant. Let's move on now to the marine forecast. Sea conditions will be slight to moderate. Waves are expected to peak up to 5 feet. Let's take a look now at the weather for the next 3 days. Well, tomorrow, Tuesday, as I said, it'll be mostly cloudy with some showers. Maximum temperatures will peak up to 28 degrees Celsius. Wednesday and Thursday, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a few scattered showers expected, with a decrease in wind speed as well. The rest of the Caribbean tomorrow can expect mostly cloudy skies with some showers, and the southern portion can anticipate partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some showers. Moving on to the international city forecast. Overcast skies expected for the city of Miami and London. Partly cloudy skies for New York and Beijing, and Caracas will enjoy some sunny skies tomorrow. The sun will rise at 6:27 a.m. and will set at 6:11 p.m. Feel free to visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Join us tomorrow evening for your next weather broadcast. Thank you.
To end the news, the headlines again. Roseau Central MP Joseph Isaac is the latest to be questioned by police since UWP protest action and subsequent vandalism in the city. An application by show promoter Cabral Douglas to sue government over the Tommy Lee Sparta case dismissed by the Caribbean Court of Justice. And the Minister for Tourism urges private sector to improve its case for Sunday as a regular work day. Feel free to contact us at news@MarpinNewsFeb20th2k17. You can also access the news on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Idona John Baptist, and to our viewers around the world, thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.